Oh, okay. S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, D tier. Instantly I'm dragging this guy into S tier. Sova, best agent in the game. Hands down. Okay. I was making sure KillJoy was right here. Um, Breach. Breach is definitely not bad. He's actually really good. And if a player can utilize him correctly, he's like terrifying to play against. Because you're just like stunned or you're flashed. Or you're stunned again. So definitely say Breach is here. I don't think Sage is necessary anymore. So I don't think I'm gonna put her at S tier. She's definitely like I'm going off of like the pro scene, by the way. So for anybody wondering what I'm basing this on. So I think Sage is like an A tier because what is it called? Like she's not necessary. There's other characters that you can use to replace the Sage, and you'll be completely fine. Right now, I'd say Jett's actually S tier in pro play. Jett's actually a piece of shit, dude. Jett Jett's insane because especially if you're using her as an opper, you just get picks everywhere and it's untradeable. So I definitely say Jett's an S. I'm gonna go ahead and put Viper down here because literally nobody touches her. So Viper's at D tier. Jett's not broken, but the way the meta is shifted, a lot of people are using Jett with op and going for aggro picks or just playing in like one and done positions with the op, and then you get a kill and you just dash away, and you can reposition. And her kit's really strong. Like trust me, as a Jett player, her kit's really strong. She has smokes. And yeah, the daggers. If you know how to utilize the daggers properly, you just kill everyone too. Like the right click is really, really good. Let's see next. I've actually played. So KillJoy, like I'm putting S as like essential, or like just really high picked. I'd say Cypher. Like the thing is though, I feel as if Cypher and KillJoy are interchangeable, so you can have either or. And so I don't like normally I'd put Cypher at S tier, but I think because they're interchangeable now, I just put them both at A tier. They kind of accomplish the same thing with locking down a site, and Cypher's more oriented towards like you can play retake with Cypher, whereas KillJoy is trying to like hold down the site, and you can use her turrets or her alarm bot to basically do the exact same thing that the trips do, except people can't break the trips or like jump over them. So if someone goes in the turret's radius and the turret's placed properly, they're just gonna see you, and then you're gonna know that someone pushed up. So like KillJoy basically accomplishes the same thing that Cypher does, is not getting flanked. I don't. Maybe KillJoy is better than Cypher, but I definitely think because they're interchangeable, probably in the A tier, both of them. Next up, there's gonna be a lot of characters in A tier. I feel like, because most characters are just really like good. I'd say for right now, Reyna might be B, just kind of even stuff out a bit. And nobody really plays her other than like Scream is the person I can think of that plays Reyna. But Reyna is a really good character. I think her kit is very hard to pull off though. And you have to be like feeling it, or else it might be a little bit underwhelming. Same with Phoenix. I don't know why, but I feel like Phoenix flashes are actually really easy to dodge. And I'm not really scared of Phoenix. He can use his ult to just get aggressive on defense as well and push up. But most of the time you just like avoid it and then you re-clear. So I don't know. I don't think he's that good actually. I'll just put him at B. I think Raze is A tier. Her nades are OP. Raze, like, if as long as you position your nades well, you just kill people no matter what. Or your satchels. if someone's in a corner and they're stuck and they're low HP, the chip damage, quotation chip damage, just kills them. And then to finish it off, the cherry on top, just a fucking RPG. Man, this is hard with these two. There's gonna be like nobody in C tier. Like Omen and Brim are probably some of the most important characters. They're also like interchangeable, so you can either have an Omen or you could have a Brim, and as long as like your team complements the style that you're playing in, then I'd say yeah, they're both at like A tier, just because they're interchangeable. Like you can't really replace a Sova if you're using a Sova on a map. Like there's no character that does what Sova does, and there's also no character that does what Jett does. Maybe you can say that Reyna can pull off the Jett, but I'd say the Jett is a lot more. You have a lot more like room to work with when you're playing Jett. So if you ever like miss a shot, you can still dash out. Whereas if you like peek an angle with like Reyna and you miss a shot with an op or something like that, you can't dismiss out, and so you just die. And her flashes can be killed really easily if people are expecting it. But yeah, I'd actually say that the game is pretty balanced. Yes. People underestimate Breach. Trust me, Breach is like he's insane. Trust me. Like I see the thing is why I'm basing this off of pro play. So I see a Sova so much, and I see a Jett basically all the time. Thank you Gyrocos for the sub. Whereas in like A tier, I see a lot of Breaches, I see some Sages, I see Cypher, KillJoy, Raze, Brimstone, and Omen. But like I don't always see them. So sometimes it'll be like, oh, it's on Omen, it's a Brim, or it's on a Brim, it's an Omen, or instead of a Cypher, it's a KillJoy, or maybe there's both a KillJoy and a Cypher. Like I would say the game is pretty balanced. And let's see. I don't know. I don't know what they need to do to Viper. Maybe her ults. I don't know. She just kind of feels, especially when there's a Sova on an enemy team, Viper feels so useless in my opinion. Like I can't do anything when there's a Sova. I just get darted or I get droned or I get ulted. There's so much bad things that can happen. Thank you Waxy William for the sub, and thank you It's Mobstar for the sub. Okay, but yeah, that looks like my tier list right now. Dude, we're just gonna put this in the tier of its own. I used to be a Viper player. But it just the thing with the Viper is, in terms of every other character, Viper requires the most patience, or not patience, the most preparation. You can go into like a game with any of these characters and you can be unprepared, never played the agent before, you'll probably do okay. Whereas Viper, if you played Viper and, or like you never played Viper before and you try to play her for the first time, you have no clue how to play her, it's gonna fucking suck. So she just requires so much preparation, and you have to have that mental catalog of like all the one ways or lineups or snake bite fucking lineups. There's so much stuff you have to remember, or where to place your wall. Like you have to communicate so much on when your wall is going down. You can fuck over your teammates big time if you keep your wall up when they're doing something, or if you put a smoke up when they're trying to do something, or if you ult in a bad situation. You can fuck up your team really bad. And that's why I'd say Viper's really hard to pull off correctly. Eventually there'll be some player that can pull off Viper, and then it'll be pretty pog to see. But I think for now, he's just kind of in the graveyard.